Welcome back. My name is Ja, aka 100K Ja. On this channel, we discuss how to improve your credit, how to build, and how to fix and fund yourself with credit. And today we're going to be discussing a few credit cards that's going to give you the highest limit without you even applying for them. So each of these cards, you can potentially get up to $5,000 or $10,000 on your first ever credit card. And you can do all of these in one sequence. So that means that you can pull 5 cards, and in most cases, they go far beyond that $10,000 limit. The best thing about each and every one of these cards that I'm going to present to you today is you can see if you qualify for them for no hard pull. So this will look like you just doing pre-approval applications, and you don't even gotta assume what limit you're going to get. It starts you off at like a minimum of $10,000 or $5,000. So these are very high limit credit cards. You can get each and every one of these cards in one sequence, and it won't destroy your profile. All right, but before we apply for these cards, I want you guys to know that each application will not be the same for everyone. Even though every card discussed offers some form of pre-approval, pre-qualification, or soft pull screening, results are not the same for everyone. As I said, many offers are targeted, personalized, depending on whether you opted out into pre-screening offers. Like this is what that looks like is when you opt out of secondary bureaus. I know if you've been through credit repair before, you probably opted out of secondary bureaus. So some of these offers won't be presented to you, but that does not mean that you cannot get approved for them. Credit card bureaus pull are not guaranteed. When issuers tend to favor certain bureaus, pulls can vary based on your location, your credit profile. So it's important to confirm recent data points using credit formulas and community reports before applying, as you guys should know. If a denial results in a hard inquiry, there are existing strategies available, including reconsideration lines and hard inquiry removal options Lastly, most of the credit cards discussed require good to excellent credit, with one noticeable exception that will be covered in detail. So basically what I'm saying is you can get approved for each and every one of these cards, but you have to be in that good to excellent category, and you have to know how to apply for these cards. You can't just apply for the card just because you have good credit, just because you have a 800 credit score and expect to get in there. Data points are important. Credit age is important as well. And as well as, again, you got to have good to excellent credit history. And if you do get a hard inquiry, there are methods. I'm going to drop a method on my page to get hard inquiries removed from your profile in 24 hours. It's not a hard thing to get removed from your profile. So you guys won't have to worry about that. But let's get deeper into the video now. All right, so the first credit card that we're going to be talking about is a worldly known credit card. It's Capital One Venture X card. Most people start off with this limit between $19,000, but the minimum for this card is $10,000. And the best thing about this card is most people tend to see credit line increases really soon with this card, between 90 or 30 days in some cases. And the best thing about this card is the benefits that this card do offer. You can go more into details with it. We're not going to go too much into details with it. We're going to move on to the next card. I'm just going to tell you guys the cards, tell you guys the limits, and then you guys can take it from there. But before I move on, I do want to let you guys know that this card does pull from all 3 bureaus. So that's TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. But that's not necessarily true, because I have been able to get people approved for this card by freezing their Equifax. And sometimes it depends on what state you're in, depending on what you can freeze or what you cannot freeze. You have to do more research on it. I just want to let you guys know that you can hide and freeze your bureaus when you're applying for this card. The next card we're going to be talking about is from one of my favorite banks, and that is Chase Sapphire Reserve card. This card does have a minimum starting balance of $10,000, just like the other one. With this card, you do have a pre-qualification tool and a pre-approval tool as well. So you can basically see if you're pre-approved and if you pre-qualify for this tool. It's 2 different things. One of them is guaranteed for you to get approved for this card. I personally did it when I got my Sapphire card. I think the Sapphire is better in my opinion because of the benefits, but this card gives you a way higher limit. Most users do see a limit between $16,000 and $20,000 for their first starting limit. But the difference with this card, when you do ask for a credit line increase, it is about 3 months before you can get an increase with this card. And with this card also does have an annual fee of about $495, I believe. We're not going to go too in detail about what the benefits of the card. As I said, we're just going to discuss the card, discuss the limits and the options that they have when you're trying to get approved for this card. We're going to move on to the next card now. Also, before we move on, it does have a 524 rule. Look that up. It's super important. Chase will not give you any cards if you do not follow these rules. I think you guys should definitely look that up. Next card we're going to be talking about is one of Bank of America's card, and this card is the Premium Elite Rewards credit card. This card does, just like the other ones, have a minimum starting balance of about $10,000, but most users do see their starting limit starting between $15,000 to $25,000. This is one of Bank of America's more premium cards that has a lot of benefits, and it also has an annual fee, but it also has a welcome bonus, usually about $75,000, which totals up to $750. Their reward program is a little bit different than Chase's. It is one of the best credit cards that Bank of America do offer. To get approved for this card, it does tie back to income, assets, and relationship. So if you guys have all three of those things, I do recommend you go get this credit card. It is really good, and your limits can be really high depending on your relationship with Bank of America. As I said, we're not going to discuss too much about the cards. We're going to move on to the next card. The next card we're going to be talking about is one of Chase's product, and it's one of the best mile cards. It's the Chase United Club Infinite card. With this limit, it does start off with about $10,000 minimum, just like the rest of the cards, but most users do see a limit starting out at about $20,000 to $30,000. This card is one of the best cards to have. So when you're trying to get the highest limits when applying for this card, it is heavy based on income, relationship, and assets as well. Just like the Bank of America card, you have to have a really good relationship with Chase, especially if you're aiming to get one of the $30,000 for your first ever approval for this card. And the only reason it is harder to get approved for this card is because Chase treats this product like a high value product. You have to have a certain amount of income and relationship, and that's why they are very more generous when you first get approved for these cards. That's why it's usually higher than $10,000 for these cards. So the next card we're going to be talking about is one of Navy Federal's product, and it is the Flagship Rewards card. The difference between this card is it has a minimum starting balance of $5,000 compared to all the other cards with the minimum starting of $10,000, but that doesn't tell the full story. Most data points show that most clients start off with a $15,000 credit limit, and to know what approval odds you'll be getting for this card, it is heavily based on your relationship with Navy Federal. Not too much about your profile. You can have an 800, but they don't care. They care about your internal relationship more. I do want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, comment, and share. If this was useful information, please take these tips and run with them. They really do work, and they are the best cards to get approved for when you're starting out, and especially if you have really good credit, these will be the best cards that you can apply for.